Welcome, sports bettors. Bet Republic's Super Bowl preview, and Sonny Palermo here, Mr. Jarvis Simons over here. Between now and game time, we're going to have a lot more in-depth, a lot more prop shows, everything over at BetRepublic.com. Right now, just take a quick look at the game. What do you think? What's your opening numbers, and what are your thoughts?
Opening lines we saw for the game were Colts -4, 4.5, depending where you look. For a total, we saw 55, pretty solid. As you would expect for the big game, the favorite and the over are getting the action. We've seen Colts at 5.5 now. We got the total at 56.5. In my opinion, we're going to see the total rise faster than we will this line on the favorite. Now, I think a lot of people are looking at New Orleans thinking that's a value line on a team who's done fairly well, scored 510 points throughout the season, averaging 38 points through 2 postseason wins. The total, I think, could keep going up.
Surprised that the early money came in on the Saints at that number. I thought the opening number was okay. It was based on public's perception of Manning and the Colts. But I think it's a little disrespectful. As I said, the Colts beat up a Jets team who basically I don't think belonged. Like I said, lost 6 games. They lost 5 or 6 with the only win in there to Tampa Bay. It's just not a team that I've ever believed in. Thought they were overhyped. So the Colts come in with a perfect game plan. They put up 30 on them. Yet we have New Orleans, who beat up one of the top-level teams in the league. I'd take Minnesota over the Jets any day. I think New Orleans got outplayed and still found a way to win. No respect for him off of that, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of people must be looking at the turnover count from that Minnesota-New Orleans game. Minnesota had every opportunity to win that game had they not made turnover after turnover after turnover. A lot of people are looking at the turnover count and saying, Peyton Manning's not going to give the ball away, but, things do happen. You can't handicap turnovers. Well, it's a new game, so turnover counts at 0-0.
I think on people's mind also as well, if they give Brett Favre Mr. Interception at the end of the championship game, as he'll ever know now, if they can give him almost 500 yards, what the hell's Manning going to do to him?
And you also think if Favre is thought of as a pick guy, Adrian Peterson's thought of as a fumble guy, let's not take away from the fact that New Orleans Saints, if I'm not mistaken, were second only to the Green Bay Packers in takeaways this year.
They cause them.
Defense comes after that ball until a play is whistled dead twice.
There's a difference between teams that screwing up, not that they didn't screw up on the Minnesota side, but a lot of that was forced by the defense. So that's I really don't have a play in the game yet. But how about props? One of the things that we're going to play, we did a couple in the championship games. I gave a few of them out at the bulletin board session at Bet Republic on Sunday. We used Stover over 7 points. We hit that one for the place kicker for the Colts. We used Dallas Clark over 6.5 receptions when they hung 6.5, which is his average every game. I said that's just a straight average. That's what he gets every game. And I thought he was going to be a bigger part of the game plan, but he was used more in a decoy role. His colleague got a few more passes, about 5 more thrown his way than he normally sees in the game.
Colin Garcon were the secrets of the Colts game plan.
A great game plan put in by Caldwell against that Jets defense. So we're going to talk about some props now. A lot of the numbers aren't out yet, but there's some basics. I'm going to give 2 real quick that I use. I love playing shortest touchdown of the game, over or under. You take the under 1.5, and most people look at it as like, that only gives you this much field to work with, 1.5 yards. And I got 99 the other. There's a reason for that, because pass interference in the end zone sets you up at first and goal for the 1. And with 2 big passing teams and teams that aren't afraid to throw deep, I like that prop, this one, for this game. The other one I really like is number of people to throw a pass. They set the number at 2.5. Obviously, you have 2 quarterbacks, you're going to get 2. The question is, will either team use a trick play that has a guy throw the ball, or will either quarterbacks get hurt and have to come out for a couple plays? So those are the 2 props. As the prices come up, we'll be talking about more in depth. What do you got?
Yeah, as the books don't post lines up right now, it still gives bettors a chance to look at the props they might like to play, get a line formulated in your head that might be something you jump on, and then you're ready for it because you know how many props are going to be. A couple of things I'm looking for in the Super Bowl are, will any team score 3 times unanswered? With 2 offenses like this that are potent, you know that whether there's a turnover or whether it's just a 3-and-out or stop on downs, there's going to be a chance for that other offense to score at any time. So I'm going to look at yes on one team scoring 3 times unanswered. Also, will there be a score in the final 2 minutes of the second quarter? That's something I look at. These 2 teams have really good 2-minute drills they're going to go into. One other thing that Sonny mentioned is the prop we hit on this week was the Stover over prop. I'm going to be looking at the lines they put out for the kickers. There was a 7 put out on Stover in the Colts game against the Jets. There were 8s put out on both kickers in the Saints-Vikings matchup. That was more of a touchdown game. We knew touchdowns were going to be needed to win that game. didn't touch it. But we're going to see what kind of numbers they put out for the 2 kickers in this game, and I might look at an over or an under play on the kickers.
Well, I can tell you right now, your 3 scores, yes or no, you're going to be paying probably $1.80 to $2.20, somewhere in that range on the yes, there will be. I worked with the guys that actually invented this prop. I don't care what any book out there tells you. There was a time years ago when there was only one place you could get that prop out. Now it's popular, it's spread everywhere, but it was definitely copied from a certain sports book in Vegas, and I was with the guys when they were making it. I got there right after they had their first couple times with it, but still, I used to have a friend bet it because I wasn't allowed to bet because I was making the numbers with them. But you're going to see $1.80, $2.20 because 2 passing teams with a total this high, you're definitely going to see a high.
Yeah, if a prop comes out with
yes.
that number, I'll think twice about it. The props are fun. I had a profitable regular season, up a few units on the postseason. I'm going into the Super Bowl playing on some house dime, looking to have a little bit of fun, make some bets. You know you want to have action, jump in a square or two for the pools, but you want to still come out on top. You don't want to be stringing yourself out with them $1.80, $2 props, or else it only takes one to go bad, and then all of a sudden your score's south.
Season's over by this point. If you had a good season, congrats. If you didn't, don't try and make it back on one game. This is a game to have some fun. And one other prop I want to mention you guys I'm going to look at. I'm going to take a look at the quarterbacks over the last 10 Super Bowls. I want to see how many times the quarterback of the losing team threw an interception. I have one of the 2 quarterbacks here who I think is going to be on the losing team, and I'm going to see what odds they put up. As I said last week, you could get yes or no interception odds on 3 of the 4 quarterbacks. They refused to put one up on Sanchez. Wisely done. They did put one up on Favre, not so wisely done because I let an entire bank account. I had a little bit left at one of my accounts I don't use. I said, let it ride, double down, and we collected on that one. So we'll be adding this information in future spots here, and we'll do some Utahs. We'll also do, not in addition to the Utahs, Bet Republic on the Daily Line Show and at the site betrepublic.com. We'll be giving some updates here and there. We'll see you over at the site.
Yeah, stop by. We'll see you there.